Shout out to Big Sexy. Hi, so this is Kellen. I'm doing day one of 100 days of videos that I'm going to be recording. Um, Today I wanted to talk about exercise. If that's a surprise to anybody, that's pretty funny. Um, Nutrition and tissue quality recovery. Main point that I guess I wanted to cover, I made a whole list of like video topics that at some point I wanted to make, and I figured a challenge of 100 videos, best time to start. I wanted to talk about a time that I went from injuring my back and being told that I wasn't going to be able to lift anymore or do any of the sports that I love, to within 6 to 8 months I was lifting heavier weights than I ever had before and feeling better than I ever had. Backstory here is I was at an LA Fitness doing like warm-up weights with deadlifts and pull-ups, and I put the pull-up the barbell down on one of my warm-ups and just stopped and felt a pop and was like, whoa. So I immediately just put the barbell down and like started to feel the tightness in my back, and I knew that I'd messed up. So with that, I'd started hobbling out of the weight room, like just trying to look cool and wave to the people as I left. Made my way into the locker room, laid down on a bench for like 15 minutes, and just felt everything starting to tighten and all the excruciating pain in my lower back. I literally like crawled out of the gym that day, got some help getting into my car, and the pain of sitting in my seat even and getting ready to drive. Like I remember pushing my left foot into the gear shift, into the pedal, and just being like, oh my god, just waves of pain all through. So that was day one. I made it to I called into work, wasn't able to do anything that day. Made it to a chiropractor, and he told me two things. He was like, I've got good news and bad news for you. Good news is it's going to get better. Bad news is it's going to get worse first. And he told me that I probably wouldn't be able to lift anymore. I probably wouldn't be able to do any sports, that we'd manage it, but I'd slipped a disc, and because of that, it was, there were some people who could come back from surgery, but otherwise, his verdict was that I was pretty much done. So yeah, I did not accept that as an option. He had exercises for me to start doing, a week after I saw him. He said after a week and the swelling goes up and then goes back down, I can start doing these core exercises and stretches and things that would help me get better movement again, but then like we'd monitor how much pain I had sitting, standing. I remember during this time I'd set up my work environment so that I could actually have a standing desk, because I literally could not sit down for more than a minute at a time without huge amounts of pain. So I'd set my desk up, on books and blocks, and had it so that I could actually do my work at the time, standing all the time. So from there, I'd started doing research in my off time, because like I wasn't using the gym, and that was a big part of my life and my routine at the time. So I kept doing all this research on like what how do people come back from injuries like this? How do people come back from and what causes them, and how do you prevent them, and all of that. So a lot of what I came across during that time, was not at all what I would expect. I was focusing on getting strong and all the strength stuff, but what it came down to was like, if I improved my tissue quality, if I improved my mobility, and if I improved my flexibility and the quality of motion that I had with my exercises, that's where I was kind of convinced that people were able to come back from injuries like the one I had, and find relief. So I gave it a try. I looked at what I could do, and little by a lot of the exercises I couldn't do because I didn't have the movement. I couldn't do it. Everything hurt. But I started small, and little by little I was able to come back to a place where within a year, I was lifting more weight than I ever had in all of my lifts. And then, now last year, I was able to compete in a powerlifting competition and take a gold medal here in a local competition. So, from there, I've just continued to focus on these things, which are counterintuitive. It seems like a lot of rolling around on the floor, as I'm warming up, and people are always like, "What are you doing?" But I found that, with focusing on all of those things, I'm actually able to have much faster progressions in strength, as well as prevent injury, which is probably the fastest way that you can progress in the strength world, is if you're able to continue working without injury. You're going to make the fastest gains, because a lot of people will go on these crazy programs and they'll fight and fight and fight, and then they'll get hurt and they'll take off, and then they'll be like, oh well, let me try and get back on that crazy program, and they'll just continue to seesaw back and forth. Whereas a lot of coaches that I started reading after my injury were saying a lot of smart things, and that the fastest way to progress is just to not hurt yourself. So in the next, for the next little bit, for the next 100 days, I'll be making videos, but for the next little bit, I'll be talking specifically about the types of things that I do for my movement practices, warm-up practices, and stuff before weight training, how I do my weight training, how I do my yoga, how I do recovery in terms of meditation, fancy salt baths with candles, and that kind of thing. All, I love the training stuff, and I'm going to share stuff about that. So if you like it, follow, let me know what you think. And I hope to talk to you soon. Have a great one. Bye. Oh, so embarrassing, Big Sexy. Jeez.